Welcome back to lesson number 34. You are here to extend the love of God into creation. And so let's jump right in because I think there's some really beautiful parts of this section. And down in the fifth paragraph that starts off, it says, "It's impossible to extend the praise of the Creator without fully loving oneself. Without embracing and loving the particular manifestation of God as you cannot fully step into the complete expression of the praise of the Creator. Therefore, you have heard me say unto you many times that the veil that keeps you from the kingdom is the lack of self love. Self love is essential to returning to the kingdom, for self love is the love of the Creator. You cannot love the Creator while rejecting the Creator's creation." I really suggest that you spend a little bit of time with this because in this one statement, in this one paragraph, to me is almost the key. As I go through my own journey and my own awakening, I've talked about this several times recently, whether it's at the center or about other things I've been talking about lately, but it's this ability to be able to accept yourself fully, warts and all, bad parts and all, the parts you don't like about yourself and all, need to be accepted. And that's really what comes down to self love is this idea that you're willing to look at the whole thing and go, I love all of me, even the parts I don't want to talk about, even the parts that I'm not proud about, all of them, because to me, that's the ultimate form of grace. And that's why I think the power of self forgiveness and self grace, offering self grace, can be so healing. And not only that, it also allows us to extend forgiveness and grace to other people and other situations that come up, right? So it's again, it's another tool, if you will, of being able to accept the reality of what's going on and not resisting what's going on. And so this idea of the lack of self love is deep and profound. And I don't think you should hurry over this. I think this is something that you should spend some time with. And I know I certainly have and still am as well. The second part of this section that I just want to bring is the very last paragraph when he talks about these words that Paul wrote, which said, "Let that mind be in you, which was also in the one we have chosen to call our Lord, the one known as Jeshua ben Joseph, or the Christ." And then again, um, Yeshua talks about this idea resonated with the mind of the Christ versus the mind of the ego. Okay, so there's two different, we've said this many times throughout the course of this, that we're going back and forth between the mind of the ego, the egoic mind, versus the mind of the Christ, and they are different. They are different in terms of operating systems. And it's just once again him bringing that to our attention to be paying attention to, and Paul did it as well. The next section, which is called "You Are Part of Something Extraordinary," the ultimate transfiguration. And Yeshua is just talking about within the first paragraph, and yet wherever you are about something extraordinary. The last sentence, it's a very process through which a creator is correcting the illusion of separation, which we have talked about endlessly in this process. Further on down the paragraph, it starts with, "You are in the process of ultimate transfiguration. You are part of an ancient lineage with but one purpose, the complete transfiguration of the human consciousness into being a literally field of the Christ." Field. You're walking in the field of the Christ. And who is creating that? You are. We are, by allowing the love to flow through us and therefore creating this field of the Christ. I think that's really powerful. Further on down the paragraph, "Understand well then that you are not an ordinary person." And it talks about, yeah, but I'm still not there yet. I still haven't quite gotten it yet. I'm through this entire book almost, and I still don't have it yet. And then it goes on to say, let it take your breath away. In other words, be okay with it. Your soul knows exactly what it's doing. The ego is the one that's freaking out saying, I don't have it. I don't have it. I haven't figured it out. I'm not sure what's supposed to be going on. Let the ego continue to do that and keep moving forward and allowing yourself to have that experience. I love this section. You're part of a very ancient family. I just adore this. By you entering into this process, going through this book, going through this material, you are acknowledging your ancestry, your ancient family. The entire lineage expresses itself down through the birthing of what was called the Jewish nations. We'll even back up a minute. Many of our names are known to you. Who are they then? Well, you know me, you know Saint Germain, you know Mary, you know Abraham, you know Moses. There are many others. And it goes on through this entire section. Um, and I love in the third paragraph it starts, this makes you not ordinary, but extraordinary. The day and the hour in which you first opened to me through this pathway, you underwent the initiation. You gave your consent to your Creator to transfigure your beingness so it becomes a conduit through which the Creator extends himself, herself. Right? I love that. The next short section, the perfection of all spiritual practices. Self love is the perfection of all spiritual practices. Take a deep breath. Yes, self love. Self love. I love that. Self love is the final shining ray of light that illuminates the heart of the individuated ray of the light that you are. Self love transfigures the mind, the emotional body, and even the physical body to the degree that it strongly shines in the cells of the body. I love that. Further on down, the paragraph that starts, every choice for love has been the result of transfiguration that's been going on in the alchemy of your soul. You have been initiated into the strand of light of the lineage, the sacred family, dedicated to the manifestation and the fulfillment of the atonement, the awakening of the sonship or daughtership of the mind of the Christ. Next paragraph, the last sentence. Your life, then, is a life of service to that sonship or daughtership, regardless of the forms in which you find yourself living. Your only task, and I just love this, your only task then is to decide each day to surrender anew. Desire the atonement, intend to the atonement, allow transfiguration to occur, and surrender unto the truth. Abba, you're the only thing that exists. Therefore, it makes no sense even to say, not my will, but thine, for yours alone is. How shall we spend this one day? Oh, I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'd write that one down. I would write that one down. In the next section, the power of the lineage is available to you. Yeshua keeps talking about all of the different lineages that are out there that look to be separate, but are actually coming together again. And there's many different ways that that can look. In the one paragraph that says, all of these strands are like spokes emanating from the hub of one wheel, reaching out to the farthest reaches of the dream of separation, attracting and calling the sonship, daughtership back together. So that whether one's an Incan, a Mayan, a Nazi, Tibetan, or Indian, or Jewish, or even if you're from New York, you're beginning to become a part of the parcel of one mind that recognizes the reality of the invisible permeating the realm of the visible. So we're all coming together. Um, I have said that many, many times that what I'm seeing, while society and the newspaper and everything else out there is trying to shove this idea that we're doing worse, we're doing worse, we're doing worse, what I'm seeing more than ever is that people are coming together more and more and more and more. And to me, this um, does a great job of explaining that. In the very last paragraph of that section, the sentence that says, you are part of the lineage, the field of energy. Again, the field of energy that we are creating, that creates a vortex that has the power to overcome the illusion. Many of you are seeing that in your personal lives. I've got to believe at this point in time that in this process of awakening, in this process of going through this journey together over the last 12 months, that you're starting to see things. Some of them have been happening all along, but maybe now your eyes are getting a little bit wider. And in my own experience, I would just share that my eyes continue to get wider and wider and wider and wider. The next section, what is to come, it's this idea of the family will indeed grow. So, in other words, this thing isn't slowing down. This thing is going to continue to gain momentum. And while in this section it specifically talks about the lineage never ceases working in establishing the network of light that allows the expression of this light, and it talks about the Shante Christo Foundation, my experience is it goes way bigger than the Shante Christo Foundation. This light that's permeating the planet right now goes way beyond it. It's part of it for sure, but it's not the only part, because we're seeing mass awakenings happening all over the planet and will continue to unfold and awaken and gain momentum as we go forward. You have come with a mission. I love this. You might as well accept the fact that you've come with a mission. You are a bringer of light, a bringer of a new day or a new dawn. And I don't know, but when I first read that, I was like, me? That's like, yeah, you. And you, by the way, whoever's listening to this, you too, in your own way, are bringing your own light and allowing the love to flow through you. And just by your being, you're making a difference. So I hope you realize that and you take that away. Um, yeah. I love this next section. You're incarnating Christ into the world. The first paragraph ends with, what are you here to do? Um, what you are here to do into the awakening as the Christ. And then I love this one next paragraph. I'm just going to read the whole thing. The one that starts with, for darkness holds no power over light. It's always when you're in the point of your greatest sense of darkness, or your greatest feeling that the light just cannot quite get into you, that you could not possibly ever be enlightened. It is at that moment that you need only invite the light. That's it. And the light begins to transform the darkness. It is when you are at your edge of darkness that the dawn is but a breath of way, by simply inviting in the light. Whatever you need to say, whatever sentence that resonates with you, whatever the meaning is, I'm going to suggest that somewhere you have this card, so that when you know what hits the fan and you're like, I can't see my head from my feet, let's put it that way, that you've got this card that just says, oh, I can do something here. I can invite in the light. And that's all you need to do. But you have to give it permission. It cannot enter without your permission. This is not going to be thrust upon you. Again, you've got to be a participant in this. But that's all you have to do. You don't have to figure it out. You don't have to go any deeper. You don't have to say anything else. Just invite in the light to heal this. I invite in the light. I invite in the light to heal and transform and transfigure this. The last paragraph, take up then your rightful place to begin to give up hiding your light under a bushel. Stand up and be counted as one who is committed to the transfiguration of human consciousness through the lineage of the Christ mind, pure and simple. And the last section is step forward. And I love this. It just starts off with, you are extraordinarily important. You must begin to discipline the mind to not perceive yourself as a small part. You are in no ways a small part. The second paragraph says, you are not small, you are not alone. And then it just talks about spreading the word a little bit. For this work to reach its fulfillment in the quickest possible time requires the invitation of this lineage to you, a part of this lineage. And then it asks questions. Where can you step forward with greater boldness? Where can you find your edge of fear? Call in the support of light and move through it. Where can you drop a pebble in the pool of pond that radiates the vibration of this lineage through you out into the world? And it goes on further on down in the section, for in the end can come only one perfect equality as Christ is established in all the hearts and minds. Join with me then in this great work. Join with me. Do not shy away from that which your heart would call unto you. Rather, dive deeper. And at the very end of the section, I just made a note to myself. I put, I heard the call and I accepted the invitation. And I invite you to do the same thing. And I know that you already have, but I just needed to make it verbal for myself. And who knows, maybe you do too. All right. Well, I'm excited to tell you, and yet there's a part of me that's sad to tell you, that next week is going to be our final lesson. Lesson 35, living as a sovereign master. I hope you have a great rest of your day. God bless. We'll see you next time.